We have arrived back for the youth intake, which is considered a golden generation. We're jumping straight into this one because we are going to go to the end of the season because this is only April the 10th. So once we get to that, we'll continue everything else. But let's look at the players we've had in what is probably the most important youth intake of the save because it gives us the reinforcements we desperately need. As you can see from the youth intake view, we have been given a good bunch of players. Not perfect, but I'm going to sign every single one of them anyway, so I thought it would be better that we described their improvements and their rivals. Sergio Gabari is considered the best player for potential, and he looks like a player that I can utilize on the left wings as an inverted winger, so really useful there. We need more players like him. Just not literally, because Vitaliao was also a left winger, though is definitely more of a pace merchant than anything else. Not perfect, but he's not the end of the world either. He's considered the most exciting player by my backroom staff. Javier Fernandez is another left winger. We've literally been given 3 left wingers, only this time he's an inside forward, so maybe I can turn this guy into a striker. Who knows? Ruben is the left back reinforcement that we desperately needed, and I am very happy with his arrival. Hopefully, he can be the person that can lead the left back position for a long time, providing the players that can play there don't take his spot. Iker Benitez is the next player. He's a right back, not amazing, but he can also play as a right winger, so not the end of the world. We definitely need to utilize him though. Miguel Angel Martin is the next player on the list. He's a striker and a winger and an attacking midfielder all in one. Yes, I'm not going to use him as a striker. His finishing is too bad as his composure. But as a winger, as a winger, he's good. He's really useful. Can also utilize him as an inverting winger as well. Maybe just use him as a winger for now. He does need to improve a few things like his anticipation, but it's not the end of the world. We can utilize him. Eduardo Elman is the next person on the list. A midfielder who could also be a DM. It's just unfortunate he's unambitious, but what can you do? Nico Prieto is the next person on the list. A centre-back who actually could be useful. Yes, he's only 6 foot, but with 13 jumping reach and 10 heading, I'm not complaining. He's also considered a leader, despite the fact he is a person with 8 leadership. That's his playing style, not his actual personality. He's a mercenary, really, but yeah, 18 bravery. I can definitely utilize that. Another right winger, but also right back in Javier. Javier Valero, really, but it's Javier really utilizing his name for now. I can see why he's a wide tugger forward. He's 6'3", so good for him. He's also useful as a right back for that particular reason. It's just a shame his marking is so poor, but maybe I shouldn't be jumping the gun too quickly with that though, because a lot of his other attributes are not so great either. Everyone else is either got 2.5-star potential ability or lower, so we're not going to cover them, but we're going to go to the end of the season, and we're going to review the season as well after we go through the games that's happened at that point. We've now gotten to the 6th of May. Every player has been signed officially, and I will admit I've made some mistakes with some of them, but we are signing every player because we need the reinforcements. That's how badly I definitely needed to bring these players in. But we're now the 6th of May. What games have we been playing since we last met? And who have I given some debuts to? Because some players are making their debuts already. But let's go from the very beginning and go to our game against Riquelme Granada, the game after our Marbella game, and we won this game by 3-1. Lozano scoring the opening goal there. We actually concede an equaliser. Escobar decides to be really good and score that finish. Outstanding goal, quite frankly. But we took exceptions to it and scored 2 more goals, so once we got the 2 goals afterwards, we're fine. Nestor finds Lozano, who gets his second of the game. I thought he was offside at first, but he wasn't. And then Marta scores his penalty to kill off the game. A happy performance, to say the least. We then took on Esteban and scored the opening goal in a 3-1 victory thanks to a penalty from Blasco, who's never missed a penalty. Unfortunately, we considered an equaliser after Lozano's pass was absolutely punished by their counter-attack, and I was disappointed. But we got a second goal in the 4th minute of the second half, and when Guzman's able to play this across to find Diego, I'm not going to complain. That's an outstanding bit of play. And then we make it 3 before the end. Martos finds Guzman. Guzman goes for goal. It's hit the bar. It's bounced back to Diego, and he's got a tap in effectively. And we win by 3-1. 2 wins in a row since our Marbella result. We also had 72% of possession as well. That's amazing. Then we took a first 0-0 draw, and I can't remember this being a thing we actually had to worry about before. I know we were winning the last game we took on this team, but then we bottled it, went 3-1 down or something, and then got a goal back to make it 3-2. But this time there was no goals. Admittedly, we had no shots on target, and our chances were pretty poor anyway. But if you look at the XG, they should have scored at least one goal. Javi Sanchez was really good in this game. And that's a good sign potentially for the future. Not so much long term, since he's 32 now, and we might need to replace him long term. We then took a Cadiz's B team and lost by a goal to nil. That penalty was so good, it found the top corner. And Cadiz CF Mamandillo won the game for the penalty. Did they deserve to win? Their goalkeeper got a 7.7 rating, and we had 6 shots on target, so maybe that's kind of what won the game, but that's maybe what won the game. But honestly, at the end of the day, not the end of the world. We needed to do better. We didn't do better. We then celebrated our youth intake's arrival with a 5-0 victory against Marcia B. And Nestor finding the back of the net for that effort was really promising. Yeah, we completely destroyed a B team here, and it's not exactly a good B team either, so it wasn't like we were a shock to win this game. Outstanding finish from Agada after Blasco finds him, and then we scored from his free kick to make it 3-0. But this team's really bad, and we took advantage of that situation. Nestor scoring again. Their keeper should at least save one of these 2 shots here so far. And then Mayano finds Sanchez Robles. He plays it across. He finds Brian, who's back from his injury. His first game back. His first and only goal he gets after coming back from injury. But it's a goal either way. And we make it 5-0 before the end. Chenting scores an effort. I am delighted. It was one of those games where every shot we had seemed to go in. Their goalkeeper didn't even have the worst rating either. In fact, the shots were so bad that they actually took off their goalkeeper and brought in another goalkeeper inside 67 minutes, and then we scored 2 against him anyway, so it made no difference at all. Then we took on Linares, our main rivals, and beat them by 3-0. Diego finds Nestor for the opening goal from a corner. Then Ruben, yes, Ruben, the guy that literally came through our youth intake, gets an assist from here. Elgato with the goal. We are literally giving some of these young talents a chance now because we have no choice, really, for some of these positions. Guzman then goes on this run and scores to make it 3 to complete the route. Outstanding performance from our point of view against our biggest rivals. I love beating this team, but there you go. Then we lost 3-0 in the next game against this team who beat us before 2-0, so it isn't even like they were a much better team than us. Bayo getting the opening goal here. But Lemonese are really good here, and I just found myself struggling against this team. Tactically, that was the second goal. They just were able to get there so easily in the 6-yard box, and then they scored penalty. PS with the finish. Sanchez almost gets to that, to be fair, but we definitely didn't deserve as much as that, and they probably didn't deserve all 3 goals. They probably deserve at least 2 of those goals, but I wasn't that happy with our performance, and I know we could have definitely done better after the first goal because I changed things up, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work. But I am trying to give some young players some first-team football here, either from the bench or starting. Does it work all the time? No, not really, but we are trying, and that's the important part here. We then lost our last game to La Union Athletic and got beaten by 0-0. Yeah, Tata does that. When he's scoring that kind of finish after we give the ball away, I don't think you can do a lot. Tata was just really good, and that finish was just out of the blue. It was with our own momentum as well. So it wasn't even as if we were out of possession, out of mind at that point. That goal was just really good, and it killed our chances of winning a game off. But what has happened is we have finished in 11th place. Games are still happening because the relegation playoffs are happening as well. But we have finished in 11th place, 13 points clear of San Fernando, who just survived in the last game of the year. 15 points clear of both the relegation zone and relegation playoffs. So 40 points apparently was enough to get 11th place. Anyway, I wasn't to know. I just wanted to survive. But we're only 2 points behind 10th, the team that literally beat us in the second last game of the year. And we're only 2 positions behind Linares, who finished 9 points ahead of us. we actually faced closer to the playoffs in terms of points than we did to the relegation playoffs. So that's a good sign. Unfortunately, it doesn't make a difference because we're still looking like we're closer to the relegation zone in terms of position than points. But it is what it is. But let's review the season. We're going to look at the players that left us first because there were some players that left us, and this was before I even turned up, so I can't say much. It's not like I really have much to talk about here. Some of these players were good, others not so good. I will say this. I wish this guy was on my team just for his facial hair alone. I'm just saying that here now. That is outstanding facial hair. But yeah, mid-table finish, that was expectations. We did that, and as far as I'm concerned, surviving is the goal of the season. Copa del Rey, second round, Rare Volcano. We weren't expected to get past the first round, to be honest with you, so that's outstanding. Biggest win was a 5-0 victory against Marseille B, literally one of the last games of the year. Match, remember, was the 2-1 victory against Lenesse, and the goal of the season was actually scored by Chen. We saw that goal, so I can't blame them for saying that's the goal of the year, but again, outstanding season for his point of view, and a good goal to end the year off. This isn't going to really matter so much, so I don't know how we got 800,000 in sponsorship money, but I'm not going to complain. The fact that Ogado and Mayano are two of the top shirt sellers and they're leaving or retiring respectively isn't ideal, but we are not going to have a major problem here. Our lineup was simple. We got a 4-3-3 formation. Apparently it's a wing play. I don't believe that's the case, but apparently we are using the wings a lot, so maybe it is. I don't know. But again, we were okay. We weren't brilliant. We need to do better. And yeah, Nestor was a fan player of the year, 7.2 average rating. Guzman Young player of the year was 7.0 rating. I like that actually showing me why that's the case now, or at least something like that. Brian with 13 goals was the top goal scorer for the club. That's despite the fact he scored most was in the first half of the year and then got injured. Chenting's goal we saw earlier. Lorenzo getting 8 assists was useful, and Ogado, he's leaving us, but he's left an impression with the 4 Player of the Match awards. Nestor getting the highest average rating, and Jose Antonio Ispen in his last year for the club because he's leaving us, completed 66 passes per 90 minutes, so that's a good sign. All his records are broken, not that important, but there are some important ones because we got a load of young players coming through and actually doing good stuff, so the fact that 7 clean sheets was the best for a goalkeeper this year was a bit concerning. But Brian has got the most league goals with 30. Mayano, 194 appearances, retires as the record holder there. And ESPN retires as the oldest ever player to play for us. And that's a record that's probably never going to be broken in this save, if I'm honest with you. Miguel Angel Martin, the youngest ever player. And Dario Soler, the youngest goal scorer. That can be broken. I just don't think it's going to be broken anytime soon. History in the making. Didn't let a bad start stop him from enjoying a solid season overall. Because it wasn't terrible, really, was it? We survived. And this timeline, do I think it's going to be useful? I don't know, but we've been here for a year now, effectively. We brought people back for bits and pieces for background staff stuff, and that's great. And the fact we have just brought in a load of young players so far is good. It's really helpful that we are bringing these players through, and it just tells people, yeah, you can trust us to do things. The fact we had 3 defeats in a row, 3 wins in a row as records is a bit concerning. And then we got the takeover talk happen as well. Then we got a load of good things where we brought 6 young players in from our youth academy prospect, and we actually, it says a lot how many players we brought in for the youth intakes and how many players we used, because apparently we used 11 players from our youth academy this year alone. That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? But the supporter profile, we actually lost 39 followers on social media, which I don't think is the end of the world. It's not a huge difference, and I don't think it's going to affect us long term. We have been given our expectations. The board only want us to avoid relegation next year, which is perfect, and then become an established team for the next 4 years. Again, perfect stuff. I don't mind that in the slightest. But now we jump forward to see who's going up and who's going down. So now we're back, and this is a scoreline that immediately jumps out to me. Real Madrid C team were beaten in the relegation playoffs by the team in our division. So Siete Real have survived because they beat Real Madrid's C team. And they did it on away goals as well. So they didn't even deserve it. And that's the best part about all of this as far as I'm concerned. Happy days. But yes, nobody got promoted apart from JLABTV because everyone else failed in the playoffs this year. And nobody else went down outside of the bottom 5 teams, which is great. And in fact, Sevilla Atletico were beaten in the first round, which is a bit concerning. We did see at least one of our teams in our league go through to the next round, but the Lenese were beaten, Cadiz were beaten as well. So only Aguileras went through, and then they were beaten in the final to go and be denied promotion to the next level. Europa have gone up. One of the founding members of La Liga are back in the 3rd tier, so congratulations to them. It is also funny that 6 teams in that division went down anyway, so goes to show you just how difficult it is to do things. Also, I have to show you this. Barcelona, a team that was recommended to me to manage by someone in the community post I posted about who I was going to manage, survived. And Salamanca, who were in the same league as Real Madrid C, got relegated. So the team I would be taking over if I failed Real Jaén went down. Should I be concerned or not that the teams I want to take over are pretty bad? But let's go over the players overall. Brian was top goal scorer with 13 goals. Nesto was 2nd place with 10. Eric Agaro got 9 goals overall for us. And that's not terrible, but it's not great either. But Diego got 4th place with 8 goals. And he wasn't even a first choice striker for the most part. So that's a good sign. Unfortunately, a lot of these players have started to perform really poorly towards the end of the year. But we definitely shared the goals around. The fact we had, what? Let's just see this now. 16 different players score for us is a good sign. And we had another, what, 9 players play? Let's just count this up now. Yeah, we had another 9 players make an appearance somewhere in this point in time. So that's a good sign. And assists, Lozano and Nestor were the top assisters. So the fact that Nestor was so good really tells a lot that as midfielder, he thrived in his role. Blasco got 7 assists. He scored 5 goals from the spot, but he was very good with the assists as well as a deep line playmaker. Guzman also useful as an assister with the Mazzala role, 7 assists. And Agado, who we are going to miss a lot, got 7 assists as well. Mayano, who is retiring, got 6 assists. So I think this is going to hurt us more than I want to admit. But we are going to end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys will like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. What do you think is going to happen next year? And should I be concerned about the fact that I'm losing 2 of my best players due to retirement and the fact that they have agreed a new deal with a club elsewhere? Will we survive next year? That is now the ultimate question and the ultimate goal for next season. But until next time, goodbye and well, good night.